Please, can you tell us what was your very first speech that you can recall in life? That speech that you gave and is still in your mind.
So there's two firsts for me. I see them as almost like different timelines in my life. There's the very first, which was legit first, which is that I was invited as a young entrepreneur to do a talk about the difficulties young entrepreneurs face. And it was, I think it was a Chamber of Commerce, I believe, that sponsored the event, I believe. But in either case, I went to this room, uh, like just a funny part, the building. So I moved away, lived all the way for years, moved back closer to home, and the building I did it in is no longer operational. But literally, I could throw a rock to the building where I did my first talk ever. And it was one of the only talks I ever did where I lived until I, like, when I moved away, I became a speaker years later. That was, I think, the only talk I ever delivered ever in my hometown until years and years later. But basically, I got up on the stage and I didn't know to practice anything. I just literally was going to go up and share my story. But I don't know to this day what I said because I turned multiple shades of color. I was covered in sweat. I didn't even know how big my fear of public speaking truly was until that day. I'd never done it, and I knew I didn't want to do it before that. I don't know what got into my head to say, "Oh, this is going to be easy. Let's do this." But I did that, and for lack of a better term, if you look at things as failures and successes, that was probably closer to a failure. I always say that basically, in my opinion, you either win or you learn. So I don't think you can lose or fail, but you know what I'm getting at. That was as
Yeah.
close as you get. And then I fast forward a number of years, and I did my first real speaking engagement after that stand-up comedy experience was a gym. I actually it was a guy who owned like 22 fitness clubs, and he hired me to speak. But hired, I'll use the term loosely because the deal was he would give me 3 90-day gym memberships that I could give out to other people, which ironically they would offer those for free anyway during certain times of the year to get you to go to the gym and get into the gym. But he gave me 3 of those to give away, and the agreement was he would give me a testimonial if he liked my talk. Well, he one up me and he gave me the 3 gym memberships, but then he wrote a reference letter that he sent, and it had all these great sound bites almost, and I was able to use them on my website and different places. And what's really ironic is I went from that first talk I told you about where I failed horribly. Then I went and did this talk for this gym thing where I had no business being, at the level I was speaking there. He ended up writing that one of the comments was, "We've enjoyed many presenters over my last 24 years running this company, none more so than you." And I had no business getting a testimonial that good, I don't think, for my first paid talk, because then it went like this, and then it went like that. Meaning, I started. I use an evaluation form to determine the approval rating, how many people liked my talk versus don't. And after that gym one where I had such glowing reviews, and he brought me back over and over again, my next talks, my approval rating at the time was about 60%. So that means that of to every 10 people, only 6 said this was a great talk. So barely above half. So that's how I get started. I went a little deeper there, Anthony, but that was the start of my journey.